Part two. It is Tuesday, December 23rd, 2025. This is part two. Oh, with my great value instant coffee here. Let me drink some. Oh, yeah, it's pretty good. Um, put some milk in it so it's not very hot, but it's better than nothing. So, and actually, the soup kitchen coffee is better now because it's real. Well, I mean, it comes out of a coffee maker, so it's hot. But I still like this. Anyways, now, the last video, I stopped when I made it to the soup kitchen, and I was only a few minutes late for the music concert. And there were still a few people outside, and they were going in. So I don't know if it had even started. Maybe they had introduced themselves. I really don't know. I might have missed a song, or they might have just started performing when I went in. And then they had coffee. I'm like, wow, yeah. And as I'm walking towards the coffee, there's a group of people there. They did try to get me. They already cast a spell on me. But I've actually been nice to them, and they seem like they're being nice to me. But they still try to cast spells on me. But it's weird because I think they like me, but they still try. They have to try to get me. This is so weird. And they're like, oh, there's still some food left. They're about to put all the food away and stop serving. I said, oh, I just ate at this meeting. I said, yeah, but I don't think I'm hungry enough. I just ate like an hour ago. They had fried chicken. It was real good, apparently. It sounded good, but I couldn't eat it. I was too full. I just ate. And so I'll get some coffee. I said, yeah, it looks good, but I'm not hungry. I just ate. I just ate. But she seemed like she wanted to help when she said this. But then again, people do this and they're still trying to get me, so I don't know. Anyways, and she seemed like she was being nice, and I said, oh, it looks good, but I'm just stuffed. I just ate. And then I went, and I said, I'll get some coffee. I got some coffee, and then I went to go sit down and watch the show. And this was like teenagers and then one younger boy, so they were all under the age of 18, and they were performing here. They had two electric guitars, a female vocalist, and I think someone doing drums. They weren't regular drums, they were like electronic drums, I think. So they would sound like drums or something, but it wouldn't be. I don't know. Maybe this guy, say a teenager, maybe he had drums, but it was just too much to carry, and so he brought this set. I don't know if this was the drums he played or it just fit in the car. I don't know, but for being teenagers, it was good. But now I'm feeling like I'm great at guitar. I'm gonna say why, because I just started this. We've probably been playing. These children have probably been playing longer than me, and um, they were good. But I thought maybe like I could do a bit more than that, and I've been playing for less time. And I kind of like, you think, oh, kids, but no, teenagers are capable of doing stuff. Like, you say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I'm in my 40s, and I just started this, okay? Well, not just, but still. But these are like teenagers, so I'm like, yeah, maybe I am pretty good then. But anyways, no. I liked watching this performance. The music, actually, it was pretty good, and it was enjoyable to listen to. They played a lot of Gwen Stefani music, which actually a lot of it does have a good beat. And I never really liked Gwen Stefani's voice, but this girl that was singing, her voice, and it wasn't perfect. She kind of go out of tune every once in a while, but actually she had a really good voice. And then with some more practice, like she had a really good voice and was getting close, but it sounded better. Like she needed more practice, but it sounded better than Gwen Stefani's voice, because Gwen Stefani's voice is a little weird. Like hers was like less weird, but still like, and then she sang another, and then they did like Eye of the Tiger and stuff, and like a lot of it was they were catchy songs, and I enjoyed it. But I saw when they were playing the guitar is they had two people playing the electric. There was no acoustic. There was two people playing electric, and so each one was only doing a little bit. So like they weren't doing a lot. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, when I play, I try to go all over, and actually make a song out of just the guitar. And here they had a vocalist, and then they had two guitarist, guitar players, and then, and also the drums to make a song. And so I just try to do it all. So that's what I'm saying. Like, that doesn't mean that I'm better. That's not what I'm saying. I just thought, like, it just made me feel good because, you know, because I would like to be good at it, I guess. But anyways, their music sounded good, and then there was like other people there, people that don't normally go to the soup kitchen showed up to see their performance, and then like I saw some people standing over the side, and there's like a woman there, and she was like so proud, like she had the proudest look on her face, like recording. It's kind of funny, and like and there's just a few people, and they were just real proud, and they were proud of the kids, like for. And they said that they had been to some music festival or something. I don't remember. And then this group like blew the other ones out of the water. And so like the one man that was speaking, he just spoke a little bit, not much. He wasn't there to like, to boost his own ego. He just introduced him or said something real quick. And then, I just went up and I said hello to a few people, at the end. Because when I saw the band, there's some things I liked. Like, the female vocalist seemed a little younger. She had a great voice. And then I kept watching, like, the female guitar player. Because, see, I've been playing guitar. So then I was kind of, like, looking. I'm like, where's she putting the fingers? What are the notes doing? And it's surprising, like, it seemed really simplistic what she was doing. I'm like, oh, just going like that, and like on the electric you don't have to hold it very hard, so I was like, oh, okay, maybe I am good, I don't know. I gotta blow my nose again. Oh my gosh. I guess I'm not good. Okay, so the Lord answered my question for me. I guess I'm not good. I'm gonna start blowing my nose and sneezing when I try to say I'm good at something. Yeah, I guess I'm not good, but okay, fine, I'm not good. But the band, they performed, and it sounded good, and it was enjoyable to watch. And there was, I don't know if these were parents or other music teachers, like the one man, I just spoke to him for a second. And someone mentioned a town someone I knew was from, so that's why I asked him, like, are you from this town? And like, no, that guy is. Like, so that I had to catch him after. I'm like, so do you know King Herod? Do you know King Herod? Like, you know this guy? And I said his name. It's probably his fake name. No, he doesn't know his fake name. But if he looks up his fake name on Facebook, then he might find out who it really is. But I don't have. That's what I was thinking. Like, oh, he doesn't know, because that's his fake name. That's not his real name. And if he goes and looks it up on Facebook, then he'll see the face. Because I remember when I went out with King Herod a few times, and other people were like, I recognize you're this other. Are you sure you're not this other person? That happened a few times. But then they didn't say the name. Like, there's so many things. Like, I already know. I just suspected before any of this, and every once in a while, like, there would be a clue. I'm like, okay, yeah, I already know. I'm not stupid. I'm not going to push anything. Like, God controls everything. It's not up to me. If somebody wants to do something, if somebody doesn't want to do something, like, that's their decision. That's God's decision. There's nothing I can do about that. I'm just kind of, like, enjoying the show, I guess. Enjoying my life being destroyed, and my house being destroyed, and my appliances being broken. Oh, I love that so much. So then I asked him, and then is he anything weird about this town? Like, someone that owns a large portion of this town? He's like, no, I don't. Like, this person's name? Like, no. Yeah, it's his fake name. But I bet, like, maybe he'll go look it up. And he's like, yeah, I know who that is. Well, that's not his name. I bet. I don't know. Anyways, then the girl that was playing guitar, and she was a teenager. And it was just nice to see, like, her playing the electric. Like, they weren't perfect. They messed up a little bit. But it was good. It still sounded good. Like, they did a good job. And they said, they only played together, like, a couple times. And then it was a band, so... And then I liked, she did not have makeup on, and she just had like a sweatshirt on, and she wasn't butch or anything, and I like that, and I wanted to go encourage her, like, yay, good. She wasn't like trying to be goth or rock or anything. She was just herself. And so I like how you're authentic, or and I had to get this in there, and I said the cool thing these days is just to be yourself. It's like I don't know what I said. Just being yourself, like without putting on the makeup, but just being yourself. That's what's cool now. And she's like, yeah, that's what I try to do. I'm like, good, good. I noticed that. I like it. So hopefully this will help encourage her. She already was doing it. She already was doing it and playing guitar. She was playing electric guitar and being herself, but she was not being butch either. So it wasn't that. She wasn't trying to be masculine. She was just got a sweatshirt on, her long hair, just like no makeup, but it was not masculine. It was just normal, and that's what I like to see. Um, people not pretending to be something else, not putting on a mask. Just, I think that's what God wants for us, because God made us. God doesn't want us to put on a mask and pretend to be something else. Oh my gosh. So then this ended, and there was like 10 minutes until 2 to get to this other meeting. 10 minutes to get to this other meeting, and then I wanted to talk and ask a few questions. Then I walked around and threw my cup away. Let's see what I'm making sure I don't miss anything. I always miss something in my videos. Okay. Okay, so then anyways, I have less than 10 minutes to make it to this meeting, and I start biking in the direction I believe that I was told to go, and I wasn't really sure. And then I kind of go towards that direction, and then there's a man walking across the street towards me, and there's no one else around. Like, it's December. He just starts walking across the street. And he's pretty close to me at this point. He's actually a teenager. He's not an adult. But he didn't look like a kid, but he didn't look like an adult really either. So, and I saw him walking towards me. Like, he could have looked like an adult that looks really young. Sometimes adults look really young. And I'm like, oh, hey, do you know where... I said, do you know where this is? I'm trying to find this place. And I told him the address. And he's like, oh, yeah, I know where that is. And then you said, you want to walk with me? And I'm on my bike. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. And it's like, everything happens for a reason. Everything's planned. So then I'm like biking really slow because he's walking. So I'm just biking next to him, and we start talking. And so I told him like the address that I was looking for. I'm trying to find this meeting. I wasn't really getting the directions or like the location. It didn't really make sense. There's kind of an assumption you know what building this is. I didn't. I'd never heard of it before. And so this young man walked with me, and then he mentioned his age. He said something, like we were just talking, and naturally something came up, and then the age was mentioned, and he says he's 14. I'm like, what? You look at least 16. You look like you're 16, not 14. He's taller than me, and yeah, he did like have kind of a baby face, but he didn't look 14. He probably looked 16 years old. I said, my kids are older than you. I said, my kids are older than you. And he said, you must be in your 40s. 43? I am 43. He guessed my age. Like, he didn't have to stop. He didn't have to think. There was no delay. I'm like, are you an angel sent to walk me? Are you an angel sent to escort me to this? And he said, maybe. I'm like, oh, maybe. I think he was. Because teenagers don't know, oh, you're in your 40s, like, with no delay. I said, my kids are older than you. Oh, he said, you must be in your 40s. 43? Yes, I'm 43. You just guessed that? And then I said, you're an angel? And he said, maybe. So anyways, At this point, like, I got like 2 minutes to get to this meeting. We walk for almost an hour. Like, seriously. And he said, I know where it is. It's over this way. It's over by this other place. We end up going all the wrong way. And anyways, we're talking. We are talking. Let me have some coffee. Um, so, we, walk a long ways. What's going on here? Sorry, I'm trying to look at this. Yeah, I've got 3 pages of stuff here. Oh my gosh. Um, at one point while we're walking, then I look. This is right before we get to the place I needed to go. So this was after we walked for like a half hour. And then I looked, and then there's a building, like a store, and then on the top of the sign it says Angels Among Us. And I look, and I'm like, Angels Among Us? It's like, there's another clue. You sent me a 14-year-old angel? He seemed kind of like a kid that was in a little bit of trouble. And we were talking a bit. So he was just out by himself walking across the street. But he just started walking towards me across the street. I'm like, hey, do you know where this is? I'm trying to find this. I only had a few minutes to get there. So when I saw a person, I was going to ask. And then, he asked me to walk with him, and he wanted to walk with me. So I don't know if this is an actual person or an angel. Maybe it's a person and it was a Dustin meeting. Um, but he had family trouble, and he said his family was abusive, and he's just by himself, like, and so I'm by myself, I had to leave my family, and I mentioned some things there. And then he mentioned, like, with his family, I'm like, oh, man. But he said, like, and he said he didn't like cops, as he saw cops, and said, I don't like cops, or I hate cops, or something. And I used to feel that way, but they probably stopped, like, some serious stuff, like people trying to get me. I think they probably, like, prevented some serious crimes. He's like, why don't you like them? And then he did later say, well, he said, well, when you do things wrong, when you do things that are, crimes, and you don't like the police, but basically, he said, he says he takes from the rich and gives to the poor. He says sometimes, like, it's through charity, and sometimes it's through stealing. And I'm thinking, this is why I stole when I was a teenager. For this moment right here. For this moment. So there's this guy, and he was pretty tall for being 14. So he still looked young, but I'm saying he didn't look 14. He looked older than that. And he's wandering around by himself. And he's not, like, he's having trouble with his family. He says his parents were abusive, and he said, they're not going to believe me that I walked you to this. And I said, you don't have to. I said, you can go. But he wanted to, and we talked. So this was meant to happen. I stopped. You see this little notepad here? I had this with me. I said, oh, it's okay. I'll write you a note. So I wrote out a little note that he walked me to the meeting, and I put my name and I signed it. And I just said, what's your name? And I gave, it's like real mom stuff here. And so that did happen. I said, they'll believe it. And I signed it. I said, this is a woman's handwriting. It's not yours. You'd have to find, like, a female to write this for you. So most of them wouldn't be able to think of this. So... and I said, when I was young, I used to steal. But I don't do it anymore because I don't want to make God upset. I don't want to make God unhappy. So I don't do it anymore. I said, maybe there's a better way. So there's a lot of charities. People donate and they give, and I told him about the soup kitchen and how you don't leave your tray. You can go here at these times, get your free lunch at this time, get your free dinner at this time, but don't leave your tray or your drink. Make sure you have. I told him, it looks like he kind of liked that, so he might want to go. But, like, if your family and you are going to fight, then you can go here to get meal instead. Here's free food. And I told him he said he didn't know how to ride. I'm like, you don't know how to ride a bike? And I told him there's this charity, they give away bikes. I told him about that. And he mentioned, oh, you get one. I said, well, I can't get one because I already have one. But if you don't have a bike, like you can get a bike there if you can't afford it. So maybe he'll look into that. I don't know if this is a human or an angel. I don't know. Like angels come in human bodies, so maybe he's just on the earth again, and it's not his first life. I don't know. Everything is. I said everything is planned. And it's like we're gonna be really late. We're gonna be really late. But it's meant to be. Everything that happens, it's meant to happen the way my life is. Let's see. Yeah, that was wild. He just guessed my age, and then I asked him, "Are you an angel?" He said, "Maybe." I said, "Yes, yes, you answered it just right. It was inspired." Let's see here. So, and then he takes me to this other place. So I knew this wasn't the right one, but I said, "If you're taking me to a different one and you're escorting me, then I'm supposed to go to this one, because that's the way my life is." So he's escorted me. We're going to a different one. I said, if you take me to a different one, then I'm supposed to go to a different one. We go there, and then I see some people around the back and ask them, and they said, yeah, they have a meeting that's only for the residents, though. And these people, you could tell, were recovering alcoholics. They still had issues, but they were getting better. So that was nice to see there. And then they mentioned the place, the name of the other place. I'm like, yeah, that's it. That's the name of the other place. And they said how to get there. And so then we started going that way. Like, oh, that's it. And then the young man, he was like, or the teenager. I want to say young man because he looked like a young man. He more looked like a 20-year-old to me than a 14-year-old, Anyways, we start going that way. And he's like, we're way out of here. They told you the wrong way. I said, that was you. Because I told you it was on this other street. Anyways, I said, that's fine. And then there's a big hill and big steps. And I said, if you got other things to do, then I can just go now. And he still wanted to walk with me. I'm like, okay. So I can go around this way, and because there was a big hill, and he's like, no. Then he grabbed, and he's like, we'll go get this. And he grabbed the front of my bike, and I grabbed the back, and we walked down these steep steps, and then went down some hills and over. I'm not into like stunt biking, but it would have been fun to go down. I just don't want to damage my bike when I only have one, and also I needed to air my tires up, but I was running late, so I didn't. So I didn't want to push it too hard. It was kind of fun, like a big giant curve and going down a steep hill a little bit. I'm like, that could be fun. But, I'd like to have like two bikes or something, so that if something happens, but that was a little fun. And just kind of like jaywalking across the street. And we were walking, but he was trying to walk a little fast. And then like when I had to stop for a second, then he stopped and waited. So like he didn't want me to go without him, I could tell. And then we were just talking. And so maybe I gave him some good advice. And then on his note, I put his name and I said, was being very helpful. And I signed it. And I said, this is all you need? And you go on Facebook? I said, yeah, I'm on there, but my face doesn't show. Like, I have my... I don't have pictures of myself on there, but I have a picture of the camera in front of my face, so you can't see it. I do that on purpose. Witches and warlocks cast spells when they have access to your pictures, so that's one reason. That's one reason I took stuff down, or privatized it. But also I just I don't feel like I need to give that away. I mean, they can tell it's me on there and see, oh, this is the right person, but. I don't need to explain myself. I don't need to put my picture out there. You can tell it's me. Let's see. So that was good. And then I stop and I park and then I go in and it's on the second floor and I go into the office and it's weird. I've never been into a recovery center before. It's just like hallways and doors and locks and it's kind of confusing. And I ask her, she's to go down here and go across and she was real nice, but then I go down the elevator and I go across and I'm kind of getting lost and I go out and then I go back in and then I go down the hall and then I find it. And it's almost an hour after this meeting was supposed to start and it's supposed to be an hour long. And then I go to the door and I knock on the door it's supposed to be in because there's actually some papers on the wall, a few papers taped to the wall that says this is the room where this meeting is and where it is. And then I see it's like this room, and then I knock on that door, no one's in there. I knock again, and then there's a door right next to it, which is a different room, and the door is propped open with like a box, and there's people in there, and I hear they're playing bingo, and they kept saying, we're doing bingo next week. Yeah, that was it. And then I kind of knock on the door, like, come in. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I was running late. I was running late, and everyone's there. And then they get me the cards. I grab some and start playing. And they had pop, and they had cupcakes and more pepperoni pizzas. But, I got three. I wasn't going to eat right away. They had, like, some fudge or pudding or something. So then I show up, and they're like, you need, like, three cards, and I just grabbed the top three, and then gave me some of these disc things, and, like, to do this, and I, like, do you know how to, and I'm like, how do and I said, you don't know how to play? I said, it's been a long time, and then it was real easy, but anyways, they called the numbers real fast, and you got three cards, and I'm like, like, I figured it out, but, like, you gotta be smart to do that, because you gotta look at all three and go quick, and I'm trying to drink and get my, it's like, you gotta have some intelligence to do this. The bingo players. um, But when people won, they had little wrapped gifts. You go to the gift table and get something. And I guess you're supposed to open it and show people what you got. I didn't open mine right away. Well, actually, then I was there for a minute, and someone else won, and they gave me their prize. So I said, oh, I couldn't do that. And they're like, everybody's doing that. They just give their prize. I'm like, okay. So then I go up, I picked something, and I looked at the stuff, and then there was one that was real heavy, and it was like a cylinder, and it said woman on it. I'm like, okay, I'll get this one. I wanted to know. It seemed interesting. So I figured it might be like some item for a woman, like a perfume or something. I don't know. I didn't even necessarily think perfume, but something like that. Um, and then I come sit down, like, oh, thank you. Actually, when I came in, I got some root beer, and I got some napkins, and I got a little cup that had like some fudge or pudding stuff in it. It was like kind of pudding fudge. I don't know. But I didn't get the cupcakes yet because there wasn't time. Like, there's a lot going on. I had to go to the bathroom real bad because I had 3 cups of coffee at this concert. And then I was like, oh, I have to pee so bad. And then I got like 2 more cups of, I poured myself 2 cups of root beer and drank this. Like, I gotta pee so bad. And then, so I didn't want to eat the cupcake yet and ruin it. And then, like, it was fun. Everybody was having a good time. And then I opened it up, and it was like this Bath and Body Works perfume. And it was nice, actually. The woman right next to me looked like she liked it. And she's like, what's that? They're like, you're supposed to open it and show people. And I did open it. And I was like, what's that? And I said, well, you can have it if you want it. And someone's like, oh, you don't like it? I said, I do like it, I just don't need it. And someone else was like that, too. And I'm like, yeah, I like it, I just don't need it. And she said she was going to give it to, like, her niece or something as a present. So that's good. Because, like, I might have used it, I might have taken it, but I didn't need it. At this point, like, I don't have a washing machine, so Bath and Body Works perfume is not a necessity for me. I'm just going to say. It was kind of neat, actually. I kind of liked it, but I never use perfume anyway, so if I did use it, like, maybe later maybe one day in my life I'll buy some, but it's just, like, I don't even think about it right now. So, that's not why. It's like, it looked like she liked it. So I'm like, do you want it? And I gave it to her. And then later, I did get a bingo, and I got, like, a package of 3 notebooks, and I looked at them, and then I took one. I said, I got 3 notebooks. Does somebody want the other 2? And I gave 2 away to somebody else. And then I kept one. And then they're like, did you get something? I'm like, yeah. I said, there was 3 in there. I kept this one. I gave the other 2 away. So, because I didn't need all 3 of them. But, anyways, it was just kind of fun. And then, like, they were cleaning up and stuff. And I said, I have to go to the bathroom. Do you think these cupcakes are still going to be here when I get back? I'm like, yeah, it'll take a few minutes to clean. I'm like, thank goodness. And I go to the bathroom and come back. And I'm feeling much better now. And then they have white, blue, and green cupcakes. And so at first I grabbed 2. And then I grabbed the other one. Because I want to try all the flavors. I guess they taste the same. But they were real good. Like with the white cake. And I started eating all the icing off. And then I eat the bottom part too, because it's good. And I'm shoving it in my mouth. I'm like, I'm just trying to eat it real quick. I said, I'm eating like a pig here. And then this is an hour before dinner at the soup kitchen now, which was probably not the best idea. But these were good cupcakes. And then, and I asked him, like, did I miss something? Do we normally talk about, like, the addiction or anything? They're saying, like, we don't prompt anybody or anything like that. If somebody wants to, they want to come over and talk privately, they want to talk in front of everybody, they can if they want. But we don't ever pressure anybody. So, like, okay, so I didn't miss anything. Yeah, that's good. because I think and I said I think everybody has had. I don't know. I didn't tell them here. I don't think I mentioned it here, but I think everybody has had an addiction. You can be addicted to TV. I mean, you can be addicted to things on your computer. You can be addicted. It doesn't have to be drugs or alcohol. Like I think this is something that almost everyone, if not everyone, goes through. Um, um, I said I'll try to come back next week. Um, and the bingo is only once a year, and I got to go. Great. And actually, I got two things. I got like some sticker sheets with like sayings on them, and I got a notebook. And I gave away the perfume, and then I gave away two of the other notebooks because I didn't need three. I took one. And and then they also said, "This is yours," and there was a baggie with candies and stuff. And I'm like, "Oh, thank you." I didn't know that they handed that to me as I left. And then there was that bottle of soda that was just sitting there still. They probably saw me blowing my nose and I opened it, and that's probably why they left. I'm just gonna say I have been blowing my nose for like 3 weeks. It won't stop. And then, I opened this, and they probably noticed that. And then it says, "Is somebody going to take this?" And they're like, you take it. They were so very polite. But I think they saw me open it and did not want to take it. I'm just going to say, like, okay. I don't think I'm sick. I just, like, my sinuses. This is some witchcraft that's being used against me. But maybe God is doing this because I've had a couple of tests with how people treat me for blowing my nose, so who knows what this is. Anyways, so then I got I quickly shoved like 3 cupcakes down my throat. Oh, it turns out my bag, my Trader Joe's bag that I left at the church, the spell to take the gift, I left my bag this time. And it turns out the man with the long blonde hair who was at the bingo, he's like, "Oh, I have your bag." When I walked in, he's like, "Oh, I have your bag. Remind me before we go. Remind me before we go. I have your bag." I'm like, "Oh, thanks. I was wondering." And I was like, "That's great." "Yeah, I noticed I don't have my bag." He had my bag. I didn't even have to drive back to the church. I didn't have to find it the next day. He had it and he brought it. So people were nice, and then I had icing all over my fingers. I gotta rinse my hands and I'll be right back. I rinsed my hands again. Came right back, and it was nice. And I took the pop, and I had a bag just full of candy and goodies, and I think it was mainly candy. And I just talked to them. They were nice, and I was heading out, and I said, "Yeah, I'll try to be here next week." And then so the other man, he had my bag still, and he then I was talking to some other people up front, and like, "I got a new sweatshirt and I like it, and it's from this sports I asked her, she mentioned it a lot, and then someone else mentioned about sweatshirts too, and I'll have these 3 for the rest of my life. I'm like, okay, so now I'm kind of curious. If this is a great sweatshirt, I'm going to ask you about it. It's like everything comes up for a reason. So she's telling me about this great sweatshirt, and then she mentioned Temu, Temu, and getting stuff on Temu. um, and then these are people, like, and this one woman had done an attack on me the last meeting. But I don't know that it's her, the spirit through, it could have been a spirit, like, she had a spell cast on her, or a spirit manifests through her and attacks me, and she doesn't even know. Because she was the one that corrected me. So that's what I mean, spirits manifest, they work through people. And, but then she seemed very nice this time. And, so it could be if there was, like, witches, they're casting spells and things, and something did not work, or fell through. I don't know, because God hasn't shown me enough yet to know. And also, there are people that seem like they have a lot of good qualities, but then they try to get me. They try to get me, but then they're also nice. So it's like, it's just a person, like, that likes me, but then the demon is working through them, tries to get a little jab in, and then they're themselves again. I don't know how this works. It's weird. It's really weird. But he was talking to us like, "Oh yeah, I like Temu," and I'm telling him, so I don't buy much, but when I do, it's usually on Temu. And she's like, "Yeah, I just got something on there yesterday." It was kind of funny. So this Temu being brought up, and like, I used to boycott all made in China, but not since Trump was fixing it. Anyways, and I asked her, and then at some other point, I'm like, "Where'd you get that sweatshirt?" And she said, "This sports store." And then the other man who was a spotter for the narcissist, so his mother was taking him to that sports store. This sports store has been mentioned also by King Herod. Well, that's like the only place in this whole town I haven't been to. It's not bike friendly, and I have no money to go to a sporting goods store. I've been to all the other ones. No, I don't have money to go to a sporting goods store. You know, I'm kind of like I would need a stove maybe first, or like a roof over my house, be my front porch light installed. I don't know. It's like that's entertainment. I don't have just money to go and, you know. But anyways, it's like look like a good. She's like it's look like a good sweatshirt, but that's why I shouldn't buy anything new. I've already stained it. She just got it and stained it. Yeah, you know, it's a sweatshirt. Who cares? But oh, excuse me. But she just seemed nice. We talked for a minute, and then there was another woman there too, and I asked like, "Where is this guy still here?" Um, because he had my bag. And like, oh yeah, because see, she's still they go together. So this was a woman I met at the soup kitchen, and I'm like, oh okay, so he is still here. I can get my bag. And then I go down and I talk to her for a minute, and I mentioned like, oh, he had my bag and stuff, and yeah, I'm gonna, um, and she said like you should get the serial number. There's a serial number on the bicycle. You should write it down, and that way if somebody steals it, you know, you can show it to the police. And I'm like, oh, you know, actually, I will go get my bike and I'll bring it down here. You know, since you mentioned that, that's a good idea. So then I undo my bike, and you know, this is maybe like 50 feet away or something. Because there's a sidewalk that goes down the parking area. So then I go get my bike, and then I roll down the hill. She's sitting on a bench, and then I come up, and we're talking for like a couple minutes, and like looking for the serial number. My bike is a '90s bike apparently, so and she looked for the places where the serial numbers are supposed to be. There was no serial number, and so then we talk for a few minutes, and then the man from the soup kitchen comes out, and like the the week before he saw my bike and he's like, oh, you have a nice bike. And then like he got a little mischievous look. You have a nice bike. And then this time there's some daylight and you could see, oh, it's not as nice as I remember. It looked nice when it was dark. It's a nice bike, but like it's got some rust on it. It's got like some missing decals. Like there's some cosmetic damage and it's vintage. It's like this actually, and it's in worse shape now. So he could see that there was rips on the seat, and it didn't look like he thought it was a great bike, but then he could see, oh, it's a fine bike, but it's not anything. It's not a valuable bike or anything, you know. I like it, but then he could see, and then because I had my lights and stuff on it before, he thought it was really nice, but the lights were not on it now. And then he got my bag, and then I opened my bag, and then I got the and say and I said, yeah, oh thanks, like this is make sure my bike lights. I need these bike lights because I can't leave them on the bike. I had some on my bike. It got stolen. Somebody stole my bike light. And I said I put it in here so no one could take it. And I showed him, and I pulled out light and said, see this? And I click it, and it's like super bright. And like, so they got these on Temu. This one's $8. I need 2 of these red lights. 2 of these for like $2.50. But if someone steals it, you get hit by a car. So I was saying like, because he thought like when he just saw my bike and it was dark, he thought it was like a really expensive bike or something. But and then I told her, and it was like a '90s. The bike is like, let's see how many years, 25, 20, 28 years old. My bike is vintage. And it's a nice bike, like, but it needs a tune up, and you know it's got some. Somebody at the soup kitchen smashed the numbers off, and maybe that's good because now when he looked at it and saw it was less valuable. But I mean, there's an idea of maybe envy or something, and then that would be gone. Seeing that like there's a few rips in the seat, and it's a nice bike. I like it. I'm just saying. Then you're not gonna look at it and be jealous anymore. That's all. That's great. You know, it's great. That's what I want. And then I start heading to the soup kitchen. Did I miss something here? Make sure. Okay, so I went to the soup kitchen early. I thought about stopping home, but then I'd have to go down the hill and up or I'd have to go down the hill and up the hill again that's by my house. I didn't want to do that. I don't like biking up that hill, actually. It kind of like makes my legs tired. So I just like, I have time to go home, but it's not enough to go in, really. And I don't want to bike up the hill again. So I'm just going to take my pop and my candy and go to the soup kitchen. And I thought, actually, I'm going to give it away to people if they're in there. And so when I was there at the concert, there's still that same family there. They had been here that whole time. And so then I had the pop, and then I went up front, and I saw there was a few cups sitting on the, by where they serve, and I grabbed like 3 cups or 4 cups or something. And then I said, so you want some of this? I had root beer, and I pour myself a cup, and then I give them the rest. And then I had my bag of candy, and I come by, and I give some to a woman, and I give some to someone else. And then there was a guy in the back who was like, he was like this. And then I dumped the rest of the candy from him. He's like, I don't need all that. So I give it to somebody else, and then I go sit down. And I'm just I write a few things down, and I just kind of hang out. And at this point, there's like, 15 minutes or something until dinner is served. But see, the man who had given me the cursed cookies before, I think he noticed. He saw my shirt. Oh, so when I was at the meeting, one of the witches mentioned, "I like your shirt. It says Ohio State on the back." I don't like football, but I got this at the thrift store, and it's a warm. It's comfortable and it's warm. It's not warm enough for in here, but it's just like a flannel, and the fabric feels nice, and it's a little thicker than the flimsy stuff. And it says Ohio State on it. So, like, the woman at the meeting said she liked it. And so then this man who works at the soup kitchen mentioned, so this is another thing. So he did notice I was there. I think he saw me giving some stuff out. He saw that I had a pop, and I gave it to some people. So this might be, he might have been trying to one-up me or something. I don't care. I just, like, But, let's see. The reason I mentioned this is because for the dinner, they didn't have anything set out yet, and then they decided to serve us pop. Sometimes they have, like, these. The whole time I've been going there, they only had these once. This is a diet Mountain Dew. I don't care if it's diet, but I wanted to try a Mountain Dew. That's why I got a red Mountain Dew this time, because, It just, like, there was a few different kinds, and the Mountain Dew looks more like what I wanted. And they had a red Mountain Dew, Code Red or something. So this was the diet I got last time, and then I got a red Mountain Dew this time. So they only had this once, and then they had it again today. So I think that the man that works at the soup kitchen, he noticed I was there. I was giving out some stuff. He just saw it for a few seconds, but he probably saw I was getting the cups, and I had a 2-liter that was half full. And I gave this away. And so he decided to do the sodas again. I think he decided to do sodas again tonight because I was giving out the soda, and so he wanted to give it out too. And I don't know if this is to one up or just he didn't want to feel less than. I don't know. Or maybe it's in my head. But God has shown me there are no coincidences, because this would only be the second time in a month that they have served. Probably more than a month now. Only the second time they have soda. And that's when I come in and I give away some. And so then he's like, let's do sodas today. And then as I'm walking up there, and then I go through the line once it's time to serve. And then I see they have pop there, which they usually do not. They only had it one other time. And I'm like, oh, we get pop today? I said, that's great. So they probably wanted me to be like, oh, drats. Then they won't like my pop as much or something. I don't know. Maybe they don't, but probably some. I don't know. It maybe not to get me, but like so that they feel like they're good too. I don't know. Cause see, I don't care. I'm recording this as a testimony. These are just little things that people do. So I do think that it has something to do. In best case scenario, he saw me giving out some pop and then realized they had pop left. And then like, oh, we got some of this left, let's give it. So maybe that's what happened. But then as I was up there too, and he said, I like your shirt, it won't fit me. It probably don't fit me. I was like, oh, thank you. He mentioned he liked my shirt too, so, because it says Ohio State on the back. This helps me blend in with the normal people, because it says, see here it says Ohio State. In the back it says Ohio State in real big letters, so people like it. And but the first woman, she was a witch, I believe. She was a witch, said she liked it. So is this saying that this man is? Because I thought he was a good man based on what you said yesterday. Maybe he was just trying to be nice. He did another sermon again. Um, I missed the lunch there because I went to the meeting. I think he does the same sermon for lunch and dinner. So. Okay, anyways. He has good messages for the people that attend the soup kitchen. It's stuff they need to hear. Um, I'm going to mention also before I forget, I just remembered there was another fight. And a lot of times, I think these people are being paid or hired by witches or warlocks or just people like that are trying to get me out. And so, that could be it. Because there was another fight today. Someone else came in and she fought with this other woman. And then a staff member came out and broke it up. And, saying, like, this one woman was like, I already filed, like, assault charges. And they're like, no, I don't want to hear it. The other people there, I don't want to hear it. And she kept going, like, I already filed it. They're like, nope. They weren't hearing it. And she kept trying. So I think someone came in. So someone sent, and I never seen this woman before. She came in, and then there's a woman that goes there all the time. And so she came in, starts cussing her out, and calls her a bitch and stuff, and they're yelling at each other, walking towards the bathroom. One of the staff comes out to try to break it up, and they have done this many times to try to get me, because they'll do it right next to me, and then they just did this the day before. So it possibly could have been that. It normally is. And then she had to go. This was not a big deal. Like, nothing, no one got hurt or anything like that, but, it's something silly. And so the sermon, the Bible verse for the sermon was Acts 20:35. We know Acts are, it was about helping the weak. And it was about, it's better to give than receive. It's the words of Jesus where it's better to give than receive, and and we're to share. And he was saying that he always gets sad around the holidays. And he didn't used to, but he started to when he was at the soup kitchen, and he saw the way that people were behaving. They were giving away coats, and I don't think there was enough or something. Well, they were giving away coats, and it said, like, if you already have a nice coat, then don't get one. This is only for people that need one, or they don't have a good coat. And so then that day, they were giving away the coats. Everybody came in without a coat on. Or they're giving stuff away, and somebody goes and they get everything, and there's not enough for everyone else. And so then he said he's always sad at the holidays because of this. And he's saying, I understand survival mode, but here everybody is in survival mode. You need to share. And maybe it has to do with this woman was there the other day, and she got the sweatshirts, and then there was just 4XLs left. Maybe that's it. This is the same woman that was fighting today. So I don't know. Anyways, yeah, I can see that, because some people, most don't, but some, this one woman, okay, she went in and she gets big boxes and puts a lot in it. Some people take a lot more. I try not to take too much. I kind of feel bad sometimes I take too much, but it's not like some of these people just take boxes and just put a bunch in it, If I take an extra meal or something, sometimes I feel like maybe I don't know, because we eat it. I eat it and I give some to my dog, so it's not wasted. So, but when it comes to, like, people bring in clothes or sweatshirts and stuff, then somebody comes and gets it all. And so this is kind of what he was talking about. And then he said, and it's somebody else, like, they needed something and they didn't get what they needed. And he said, well, it wasn't yours in the first place. And so someone was complaining they didn't get something for free that they needed because someone else came and got them all. But then he was saying it's wrong on both sides. It's wrong this one person comes and gets everything, and then it's wrong for someone else to complain they didn't get it because it wasn't theirs in the first place. It's just they weren't being appreciative. Yeah, he would have liked for them to get it, but then they're complaining and it's already gone, and, it wasn't theirs anyway. So like you don't expect it, but if you do get it, to be grateful. So yeah, but I do think like possibly this man that works there, because when I had my bike light stolen in the first place, and I told him people are paid. I went into his office and I said people are paid to mess with things, and I told him that, and he kind of trembled a little bit. So maybe it wasn't just the narcissist. Maybe he was conspiring with some people in there. I could be wrong. But there's some tells of the trembling. I think he did. And I think maybe he's jealous. Because he said that he picked up his cross and he was following Jesus. And that's great. And it seems like he's doing a lot of good. But at the same time, like, I had to blow my nose. And I was asking, like, do you have any a tissue or something I can use? And then I actually saw he had a box of tissues. And they probably buy this themselves, or it's for the office. It's the office tissues. Okay, I did not push. I didn't ask. I said like, there's no more napkin. I said normally I think I used all the napkins. My nose has been going like crazy. Do you have something I could use as any tissues? He's looking a long time. Like, oh, I thought we had some. Apparently they already gave them away. Looking all over, doesn't see any. So, and then there's a roll of paper towels. And so I could just use a paper towel. That's okay if you, and then I saw he had a box of tissues behind the desk. Didn't get one of those. I understand. I'm just one of the people in this building coming in to get a free meal, um, just like everybody else. And those are probably the office's personal tissues. I understand, but he knows that I'm not an addict and I'm not like a lot of these other people. I understand that. But I really like had to blow my nose, and I used the tissues, or the napkins were all gone, and there was none left. And like I use them multiple times, and I just run out. Like God has used my nose, like my running nose, to test people, I guess, and to test me. It keeps running. So my nose has been running like crazy. It's probably some witchcraft spell. Like people are casting on me to make my nose run all the time. Anyways, so he had a box of tissues, didn't want to give me one, and I said, oh, there's some paper towels, I could use one of those. And then what he does is he gets a roll of toilet paper they had on the shelf. He says, here, take out of this what you need. It's a roll of toilet paper. That doesn't look like something I want to blow, because I don't know, did somebody bring this into the bathroom and wipe their ass with it? I don't know. And then like, oh, that's okay, I don't want to take your stuff. And he's like, here, take. I'm like, okay. So then, at that point, like fine, and I just rip off, like, I got like this much, I got two about this long. Okay, thank you. And then I blow my nose on it, like, they had it sitting on they probably have their own that they use because they don't want to go into the bathroom where the addicts go. I'm just gonna say they have a private bathroom in there. Makes sense. Okay, I would too, but I really needed to blow my nose, and he was being stingy and didn't want to give me a tissue. But he did, and didn't want to give me a paper towel. They had that there. But he did bring a roll of toilet paper and said, rip off what you need. And it was toilet paper. so anyways, but actually he seems like his sermons are good. He seems like I think maybe he's jealous of me, though. It's like he wants to help, but he's jealous of me. It's a weird thing, because I'm not in a position to really help anybody. I'm there getting free food too, but they must know something that I don't know. But I gave out the candy and the pop I got. I didn't expect any of that. I didn't know they just gave it to me as I was leaving. I'm like, and then I had to go to the soup kitchen. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll just give it out there, and I did. That was good. But I'm not trying to be mean about this man, because I thought he was a good man. I said he's got good sermons. I listened to him. It's a message that people need to hear, and he's telling them to share, and he's trying to urge them to behave more like Jesus and to do these things, and that's a good message. It's a good message. And actually, I needed some bags when I went in before, and he gave me a couple. Now, they weren't the real big ones that are the real nice ones that are more expensive. I understand. He gave me a couple of the smaller ones that are cheaper. I know this, but he gave me a couple of bags, so he's like, we can help you. It was nice he did that. I appreciate that. So he did give me a couple of bags to put my dirty clothes in before. Like when these people said that they would put money on a card so I could go to the laundromat. Well, who knows what happened with that? Maybe the woman in there told him I didn't need it anymore. But they also manifested like they were inspired by the Holy Spirit or something. Um, I could see spiritually that they were provoked. Um, it's a weird thing like that happens when somebody is prompted spiritually to do something. It's not of themselves, and I can see that. Like God shows, it's not me magical. I'm not, no. God shows it to me to where like I can't even do it. But you can't. Someone could not do this. It's in the spirit where like you can see where they are prompted, or the Holy Spirit comes in and directs them to do something. So but who knows? Maybe this woman at the laundromat told him I didn't need it. Who knows? Because then I saw she had spirits. Anyways, let's see what else I got here. There's more. There's more. Let me go back to this page and make sure I didn't forget anything. Because I would hate to record all this and then just miss one little thing and then have to add it to tomorrow's. That probably... Oh, okay, so when I went to the recovery meeting that was at 2 p.m., the number... Let me try to add this up. Okay, the number, adding it up, I didn't notice it. The last four digits of the phone number for this recovery center is 2222. So the phone number ends in 2222. Just like the tiger is 222222. This is all twos here, so I wonder, is anything real? I don't know. Um, Oh, also, while the young man walked me to the recovery center, there was more fire trucks and more siren. I thought I heard another siren. I don't know, but I saw there was like two other fire trucks that went by as we were walking. I seen like 20 fire trucks or something. I'm exaggerating. I didn't see that many, but there was like a bunch of sirens in different directions. And then the cars were all stopped on the road, but I was on the sidewalk, so I kept going. Like it was like and then there was one coming as I'm going, and I go through the crosswalk, but it's coming like in my direction. And I was just like, are they trying to stop me? I've got some missions, and they're trying to stop me. They try to like basically alienate me from this new church and the pastor, and have me answer a loaded question. And then like as I'm leaving, and I'm already running late, they're trying to stop me from getting to this music concert. And then there's a bunch of fire trucks and things, and the cars are all stopped on the road. Totally weird. And then as this teenager, is walking with me, and he wanted to walk with me the whole way. And he's like, my parents will never believe, and I wrote him a note. But anyways, then there was a couple of times, like I saw like two. Like one was like a van type thing, and then there was a truck, fire trucks driving by. I said, what does this mean? What is that? I said, seeing a bunch of these. What does that mean? I don't know. Oh. But that was later. That was more than an hour later. Because, see, the trucks and the sirens and stuff were going before I went to the concert. The concert was at 1. And this was at like 2:30 or something. Because this was supposed to be at 2. And then I was late. And we were just taking our time walking. So anyways, and finally do get there. And I said, you want to come in? I said, maybe they have something else that could help you in there. And he didn't, but he left. Maybe I inspired him. Not me, but whatever God, God put people together for some reason or another. Maybe, like, something came up in the course of the conversation that will help him. Because it seemed like he was involved in, like, he wasn't involved in serious crime. It's just like he wasn't, like, selling drugs or stabbing people or anything. He said, well, like, he would take from the rich and give to the poor, that type of thing. I said, there's a lot of charities and people donate and they help. And I said, saying how here's free food, gives free bikes. I said, maybe there's another way to do that. So I don't know. And just being nice to him and listening to him. And I said, there's good people being born now, and I told him about that. Like in our families but there's good people being born to break the cycle. And I told him that. Oh, I almost forgot about that. So maybe something. Maybe he had to hear something, because God put us together. And it's not like I don't have anything to learn from him, but he is 14 and I am 43. So I think I was in the mentoring situation here. And say, like, at my age, yeah, I'm alone, because, my family does this. And your family? It's like, yeah, your family. So who knows if it's true, but I think it was. Like, and he felt comfortable around me to just tell me about his stealing. Like, like he wanted to tell me. Maybe he didn't tell everybody. And I said, yeah, when I was young, I used to do that. I used to do that when I was young. So I don't do it anymore because I wouldn't want to make God unhappy. I wouldn't want to make God upset. Maybe there's another way. So it's like being able to relate, saying, yeah, when I was young, I did, and now I wouldn't do it. So, let's see what else is on here. Now, this has got to be about it here. Oh, and Anna's in the soup kitchen. Someone there saying there's a free meal on New Year's. Another free meal. More stuff going on. They have lunch at the soup kitchen tomorrow and no dinner. So I'm going to try to get extras. Maybe something else is going on at the other church. They've invited me to a cinnamon roll thing, so they said they would like for me to be there. So that means I gotta go. I don't even like cinnamon rolls, but they might have other food. But possibly the pastor came in and he got more food because I don't know. He knows that I don't eat pork or something. I don't know. I don't know if he knows that or not. I did mention it to a couple people, but not really to him directly. So maybe there was not enough food last time and it ran out, and he knew that. So there was even more people this day. If they had 2 pizzas, it wasn't enough food for 20 people. So then he went and bought more, and then like, oh, thank you for getting this food. And he said this wings place is good, isn't it? And so, well, I don't know, but whatever salad they had was really good. I will say that. But someone tricked me into eating 1 or 2 bites with bacon on it. I was like, it tastes like there's ham on this. There was. I'm like, I had to repent before the Lord, but God, I didn't sin because I looked at it before I ate it. I lifted it up and looked inside. I saw no bacon. And then I was tricked. And then once I realized, I could have, like, just continued eating it and not made a scene. But instead, I didn't say anything, and I took my time and I peeled every little piece off, and I didn't eat any more of it. But I'm sure there was still grease and residue on there. But I already had a couple. So what I'm saying is, at that point, it was the best choice. I believe the best choice I could have made. Not to throw the sandwich in the trash. Not to be like, excuse me. Just, I peeled it off. I left it there and I ate it. And this is the situation I was in. Had I known that in the beginning, I would not have taken it. But I already had it on my plate. So I made the best of a bad situation. But remember that instant karma, man, that was like a new, the car, I'm not saying it was new, but this is not a beater, this is not a cheap old car. Like, the car that this woman had, it looked like new, and it looked expensive. And she ran the side of it across this pole, and the pole was like maybe this high, so it was below where the window was, and so she couldn't see it once she was already stopped. Like, as she was coming towards it, she saw it, but then she stopped and said something for a minute, and then didn't think about it. And so when she started again, it was below the window, and she couldn't see it. But you're not supposed to stop right there. That was in the road. So, just everything lined up perfectly. And, I felt really bad about this. But, possibly these people are casting spells on the other, and there's, like, the man there, he's not doing well. People still having issues. Maybe they're using witchcraft to get against them to keep them down. I don't know. Probably. It wouldn't be just, I don't think that level of karma is just for what she did to me, but it could be, because that's how God defends and protects us. I have never seen instant karma so instant. Like, this is less than an hour. Like, then she asked me, and then we left, and as I am leaving, bam. And I turn, I'm leaving, and then I hear the noise. I turn around, and I see the whole side of her car is messed up, and I don't want this. I feel bad. But, God knows what we don't. I don't know. I didn't like this. But I also like vindication. I like that God defends us. Um, and many people, they look very good, but they are working for the other side. They hide among us. They work in our churches. They work in our synagogues. They work in our mosques. They work at our gospel tents. They run our gospel tents. They work in the Christian music channels. Very few things are not corrupted. At least maybe God has only sent me to the places that have problems. So, but I imagine everything has got problems. See what else is on my list here. Um, I've got more topics that I can make videos about later in the future. I'm not going to do those right now. Um, Things I forgot about, things that I had covered a little bit, and I made videos on my old computer, which broke the day that I was escorted out of the church event, and they filed a restraining order. Then my computer also broke, so I believe they were using witchcraft there. That day my computer broke. It has all my files. It had a bunch of videos, testimonies, like all that. I'm going to take my time. Did you see that train right there? Do you not want me to cover this? Do you not want me to cover this in this video? The day that I was escorted out of the church event, and they filed a restraining order against me, like within that same 24 hours, my computer broke. And that had a bunch of videos I never uploaded to YouTube. And it had all my files, all my business stuff on there. So, yeah, God's right. I'm not going to file taxes this year because my computer is broken. And maybe this is a sign. Don't file it this year. I'm not. I can't because that's my server. That's my computer with all of like my information on it, and it's broken, and I don't have any money. So there you go. And actually, I lost more than I made, so it doesn't matter. Prove I didn't. I don't care. IRS is dead. So, anyways, that is my life. There are a lot of stories. I wish I had been recording from the beginning, but I didn't have time. I didn't have any time to make these. Like, to record what had been happening, like, after the separation with the devil, and the children of the corn people, and the whole block, like, spying on me, and then, like, high-fiving with the neighbor's brother that came, and they had to kill the neighbor as an offering. They're like, yeah, because they were supposed to get me and they didn't, so they had to kill the woman that lived next door because she didn't get me. And I forgot about that one when I think of the people that I believe. Okay, I don't want to get sued here, but I think the evidence will prove, if anyone ever investigates, that he killed his high school girlfriend. I believe 99.99%, my opinion is that he killed his high school girlfriend. His aunts, one of his aunts, for the insurance money, which they used to go to France with me. Who else? His lawyer, and the woman that lived right next door. After they didn't get me, and I saw him high-fiving the guy. Oh, she just died. Oh, and they were mad at me that she died. Yeah, they had to kill her because they didn't get me. That's what they did. Blame me because they had to. Anyways, that's all. I don't have my restoration yet. I'm not accepting restoration on Satan Claus. I'm going to stay in my house, I guess, if I have to.